Great rising, FB. Hey y'all, I don't know who's watching. It's the holidays, child. Everybody got their life. Get your mat, get your chair if you're working out.
Yes, indeed.
Get your
Walking.
weights.
Oh, yeah. Just for me, I'm
Jump
walking.
on your bike.
Thank you
Start
for
your
the
treadmill.
company.
Yes.
I'm walking. So
Yes.
happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the
Yes, yes,
company.
yes, and yes. Let me get ready, y'all.
I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, so happy to be walking. Thank you for the
Hey,
company.
all right, already.
I'm walking.
I got one
Yes,
camera.
indeed, I'm walking.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, wait,
yes,
wait, wait,
indeed,
wait, wait,
I'm
wait, wait, wait,
walking.
wait. Okay, just
Thank you
need a
for
little
the
bit of this.
company.
I just like to see
I'm walking. So happy
when I
to
look
be
back at my
walking.
video. I don't want to see my head
Happy
turned
to
off,
be
cut
walking.
off, turned off. Ha
Thank
ha
you for the
ha!
company.
Cut off, honey. There we go. There we go. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. Happy ex. I mean, they could have made it easier. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. We learned how to read. We read the Constitution. The Constitution said anyone born in this country is free. Free, free, free. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. And then Dr. Karengo, he said, Imani, hope on Emancipation Day. Hope on Emancipation Day. Hope on Emancipation Day. Yes. Yeah, y'all. Yes. I am free. Yes, I know this is y'all Rome New Year, but all Rome New Years are the same. So, Emancipation Proclamation Day is different. And that's why nobody talks about it, not even us people, because the Constitution, I'm going on record, in the Constitution, anyone born in this country is a free man. When the founding fathers put it together, the question was put, what about the enslaved people that we have worked, starved, and used and killed for years? What about them? And the founding fathers, slave owners said, we'll make sure they never learn to read. And if they can't read, they can't read the Constitution. We'll make sure they never get a copy of the Constitution if they can read. So you see, that's why they were comfortable. And that's why if you picked up a book or if they saw you reading, they would kill you. Yes. Yes. They don't tell you the truth about that in this country. If they saw you reading or with a book, they would kill you. If plantation owners taught their enslaved people to read, they were ran out of town, ran out of business, and the enslaved person that they taught you read killed. Why? Because as long as we didn't know that the Constitution freed us, then we will remain enslaved. And then for me, maybe other people know somebody else, but for me, Frederick Douglass started reading, honey. someone taught him a little bit, and everybody got whipped. I think the little boy he was with during enslavement days. And then he started picking up pieces. See, they wouldn't even put a piece of paper in the street for fear that an enslaved person would pick it up and teach themselves to read. They don't tell you that history. So Frederick Douglass started finding all these pieces of paper and started putting them together and learned to read. And as he was doing it all over the South, the enslaved African Americans, free people, were kept from learning to read. But you see, our ancestors, Frederick Douglass, Whitley, I have to put it in the right thing. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, started saying, wait a minute now, the Constitution said we're free. Why are we still an enslaved people? And then the Colts and the plantation owners, because see, there's a book that says slave and owner. And y'all read it all the time. Carried underneath your arm. It says slave and owner. So, to them, having enslaved people is going by that book. But the Constitution said all people born in the United States of America born free. And then Frederick Douglass and them, probably W.D. Du Bois, maybe my dates are off, Phyllis Wheatley, Mary McLeod Bethune, folks started reading stuff. And they said, wait a minute, why are we still enslaved if the Constitution said all born in this country are free? And they said, wait a minute, it's these greedy people? It's these greasy cult people that gotta have somebody underneath them to step on? It's them greedy folks using this big book? No, the Constitution said we're free. And that's why our ancestors fought in the Civil War, which is something they don't tell you either. They don't tell you our ancestors was mad because you didn't pull the bullshit. So since 1776 we were free, but we couldn't read. Then when we learned to read, you say we were stupid. Please. Emancipation Proclamation Day. That's what I celebrate. Y'all go with Rome. Rome enslaved you. Just want to put it out there. So, that's how my daughter is in her own house. Because once we started learning how to read, we ain't never stopped. We got lawyers now. The ancestors are mighty proud. We got lawyers that can read that Constitution in a coma and break it down and put it back together. We got politicians to stop them from putting all those laws on the book. The black code law. If you're black, you broke the code, you go to jail. The white water fountain, black water fountain. That dumb shit. We put African Americans and minority politicians in the government to make sure that they don't put them dumb ass laws back in place. You can't. If 2 or 3 you meet up, we're gonna throw you in jail. That's why we started singing on the corner and meeting up. Stop it already. With your dumb laws. That's why we read. My daughter was reading at 4.5. She knew. Because I knew. Not reading kept us enslaved. Not knowing how to read, but they set it up like that. They don't tell the truth. We used to get killed for reading. They ain't gonna tell you that. Now I said Emancipation Proclamation Day, that's 150 years ago. 1863. 159 years ago. Just 159 years ago. Then we started reading. And you couldn't get a hold of the Constitution. But we did. They said, wow, we're free. Then they started killing anybody who said the word free. They're not telling you how it was in real life for us African Americans. And this is after Emancipation Proclamation. Still didn't want you to read. Didn't want you to know anything. Would kill you. They ain't telling you that. They ain't gonna put that in class for you. They say, oh, read, study. You can become this, you can become that. Yeah, now we can. But our ancestors had to die to make it happen. They found out they used to have to go underground. They used to get a book, they used to have to hide, dig the book, and bury it. Then come out after working in the fields all day. Imagine working in the field all day and still knowing that it's important for you to be able to know what them squiggly lines and stuff mean. And you stayed up all night long and you learned it. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. We learned to read, bitches. We ain't stopping. We learned to write. Didn't want to publish none of our works. Didn't want us out there. Please. They didn't want to give us no say. But we got our say. We took our say. Because the Constitution said we got a right to say. Poor little Ida B. Wells burned out all her publications because she was telling people, don't stay any place where you are not appreciated. Don't pay your taxes there. Please. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. Yes. That's why. That's why we walk with our head up high. That's why all they can do is kill us and send the police to kill us. Because the other way is gone. And I, for one, with this whole quarantine, I am so blessed. Let me tell you something. The last few times I went in the store, because I go out once a month to get my toiletries and stuff, them cashier folks look at me and talk to me like they got some kind of sense. And the minute I work it out with Amazon, I'm not even going to be going out there to deal with them to even get that minimum. Because I have taken so much abuse from over the years. The lady behind you. What do you mean the lady behind me? I'm here. Oh, well, she's right. I was like, what? What? Throw your stuff down, put your stuff down, leave. all that kind of stuff in the department store, all that kind of crazy stuff. You ring it up and you're like, that's not what it costs. That's not what it says. Then you gotta have an ass attack and walk out of the store. And I said to myself, I can't wait till we ain't got to do this no more. I can't wait till we don't have to go through this no more. And guess what? We don't pick up the phone and order. Send an Uber. Send an Uber. Send an Uber Duber. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. Yes, indeed. We can read, y'all. I know y'all too caught up with Rome. I was too. New Year's. Like, wait a minute. That's Rome. That's Augusta. That's Claudius. That's Nero and them shit. We got our ancestors were enslaved and through everything. Lincoln, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. But again, if you couldn't read, you didn't know there was an Emancipation Proclamation. So those who could read and heard about it, they had to take it and put it on the grapevine. And through the grapevine, it took 2 years to make it to Texas. But they were even more madder when they learned to read and read the Constitution, and the Constitution said they were free from birth. But a whole cult, a whole society decided we'll do everything to keep them from learning to read, so they'll never be able to read, that they were free from the time they came out their mother's womb. Then when we found out we was free, they started killing us. They ain't telling you about that part of history. You can run around to them plantations saying, well, I know somebody who read the Constitution and shit. We've been free all along. Let's get the fuck about it here. They would shoot you down. Y'all heard patty rollers? We call them cops now. They would send the patty rollers out to get you. And they would do like they do now, shoot you down. You look at them and say, the Constitution said I'm free. They said, now you're really free. Blow you away. They ain't gonna teach that in school. So that's why it's so important that we never learn to read. Yeah, even after the Emancipation Proclamation Day, what do they call it? The antebellum period or Reconstruction period. This group with this Bible said, no, this book says they should be slave and masters. And our ancestors said, the Constitution said, no. Any man born on this land is born free. And we learn to read. Then when they teach it now, all the little enslaved children was sent to classroom and they was given caviar, and the teacher sat there and gave them out notebooks and pencils and chalkboard. And the little enslaved kids was treated so good. That's the lies you're being taught now. Okay? That wasn't the truth. And then after the Emancipation Proclamation, we said, we're free, we can learn now. If they got wind, the sheriff, the city council, a white woman across town got wind that you were teaching newly freed enslaved people how to read, they would kill you. And they would kill the person that learned to read. So you had to be dumb for a long time. They put a piece of paper in front of you, you had to say, I don't know what that is, huh? I don't know what that is. As you read it. And then you go home and you said, I read just what they said. They said that he cannot take my land. We got to find a lawyer to go after them. See? But we had to act like we didn't know how to read. I don't know that. What that is. Because the minute they know, they said, boy, this paper just say that I got the right to everything you have. And he said, oh, that's what it say? Oh, I ain't read it. He go home, that's not what it said, because he was able to read. But he ain't telling you. We done been here too long. Our ancestors are wonderful. I get full every time I think about it. I get full. Like Dr. Karinga knew that we would reach a point where Rome just wouldn't cut it for us. And they put Kwanzaa in place. And I'm so happy and hopeful. And look how he set it up. On Emancipation Proclamation Day is Imani. Hope. Hope. Grateful to our ancestors. I love them to pieces. I love them to pieces. I wasn't taught, I learned. I educated myself. And I love them to bits. I'm grateful to them. Especially my family. I wouldn't be here. They came from the dirt of Virginia. Virginia didn't want to give them nothing. Nothing. And took everything. And they didn't want to stay for that. They left. My mother wanted education. She wanted to learn. She wanted equal opportunity. I tell you. Let's do some fingers. This is Saturday. I don't have Miss Vicky do it. I like to say yes, but she'll be back in the rotation. I tell you. They ain't gonna teach you that. And then even after we were free, and we had our own school teachers with George Washington, Tuskegee Institute is not only known for the experiment, George Washington called for worked at Tuskegee Institute. Booker T. Washington. He trained teachers, trained people. Then you had W.D. Bowes running around doing this. You had other people in Howard, all the universities, all the philanthropists and stuff like that. But in the little rural places, they was burning down schools, burning up books. Then they said, You only get your books from the school district, and then they would send us some books that were old and used and written on and tore up, and it was horrible. When someone fights that hard to make sure you don't get any education, there's a reason why. That's why each generation we go for education. Yeah, vocational we need. But for us in this country, you gotta know how to read. You gotta know how to read. I'm doing my fingers and stuff now. Yep. You gotta know how to read. And they learn amazing ways. Amazing ways. They learn. If they were enslaved and was in a house and there was a library of books, they would sneak back and forth. They would sneak back and forth. Sometimes because the books weren't read a lot, because the people who owned the slave plantation people didn't hardly know how to read. But they knew it looked good to have books. So sometimes the enslaved would tear out a page from the middle. They wouldn't know. Oh, when I read that, I hollered. Just tear a page out of the middle, and they would never know. And you take it back to the cabin, and you start figuring. And the next thing you know, everybody in the cabin know how to read, but you can't let nobody know. They ain't gonna tell you that in school. They ain't gonna tell you that we were people who taught ourselves to read. They ain't gonna tell you that. They said, oh no, the public school system and the public school, no. Our ancestors ain't had no public school system. Everything to make sure we didn't learn how to read. And in spite of it, we learned how to read. And continue to. Like I said, 4.5. My daughter's reading. She signed her library card. That's how I know she was reading at 4.5, because she had a library card. They ain't gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you how we so dumb, how we so stupid, how we don't want to learn, they ain't gonna say, man, them African Americans, their ancestors learned to read on their own. They learned how to figure on their own. From sitting down and listening to conversations, honey. Let's get this 20 out. Tuck in your arms. Oh, suck in. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, good luck. Yeah, on their own. with chalk and black chalkboards. I can't name anybody in my family who does not know how to read. I'm aware that there are quite a few families that have folks that don't know how to read, but from what I know, my bloodline, all readers. Because we know what it is not to be able to read in this country. It's called enslavement. Tuck in your elbows. Let's get this 20 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 1 spit luck. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Karinga. thank you, and how you put together Emancipation Proclamation Day and hope. Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Karanga. Thank you for Kwanzaa, for the principles. And thanks for taking the last principle of Kwanzaa, hope, and putting it with the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. Free hope. Free hope. Free hope. Yeah, y'all, yeah. Ooh.
I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company.
Yeah.
I'm walking.
Happy Emancipation Proclamation Day. Love you, ancestors. Thank you.
Thank you for the company. I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, so happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yes, indeed, I'm walking.
Yeah.
Thank you for the company.
Yeah. Wait for it to hit the 30. Ha ha.
So
Happy to be walking.
happy to be walking.
Ha
Thank
ha.
you for the company.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. FB, please like, comment, and share. See you Sunday morning. Hey, YouTube. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the walk. See you tomorrow morning.